Christian Kirksey, linebacker, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, has been signed by the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers replace Blake Martinez with Christian Kirksey. Martinez was set to get too much money on the open market, yet to be signed so far. But Kirksey, at 28 years old, going into 2020, he was released by the Cleveland Browns prior to free agency and had a rough season last year, playing only 2 games for the Browns, had some injury issues, played only 7 games in 2018. It's been a couple of seasons since he played a full 16-game season. When he has played, Kirksey has shown he is athletic. He has shown he can run. He has shown he can blitz well. He has shown he's a good tackler, and he can make some plays. Now, I wouldn't say Kirksey is the best in coverage. I think he's average, but he is a lot more athletic than a player like Blake Martinez, which I think is the direction the Packers are trying to go at inside linebacker, is for more athletic linebackers. So Kirksey, no doubt right now, he is the best, most notable name that the Packers have at inside linebacker on their roster as of today. When taking a look at the contract, Kirksey has agreed to terms for 2 years, $16 million deal with the Green Bay Packers. So that's, let's just say, $8 million a year. I don't know the terms in terms of if it's guaranteed or not, but as a cap casualty, Kirksey basically was released because he hasn't been able to be reliable for the Browns. He hasn't been able to stay on the field. He's been injured. So I believe he's an interesting fit for Green Bay. I do think the money surprised me a little bit. It seemed like too much for a player that hasn't played in like 3 years, basically, like at least 10 games in 3 seasons. So maybe it was a little bit of a risky signing, but I do believe that when Kirksey is actually healthy, he's a starting caliber NFL linebacker. He's a solid player, and he does give the Packers a linebacker that sideline to sideline is good. He can run, and he's good versus the run, which Martinez was getting eaten up by blockers. He was not very good in the run game. Big reason was that 49ers game, which is why they didn't re-sign him. So for Kirksey, it's a little bit different. And I think that's what Cleveland, they completely are revamping their entire linebacker position. Schobert's gone. Kirksey is gone. And Kirksey has now found a new home with the Green Bay Packers for 2020. We'll see how he fits in, because the Packers, they don't really play a lot of linebackers within their defense with Pettin. So he'll likely be one of their 2 linebackers that they play with regularity. And to me, I really don't want to blame Blake Martinez 100% for the flaws of the Packers' run defense in 2019. Part of it I just feel like was they were too small of a defense. They played only really Martinez at linebacker for a lot of snaps, too many snaps in my opinion. So I do believe that Kirksey is just the beginning for the Packers in signing some linebackers, signing some beef in the middle of their defense, and some players that can make some plays versus the run game and not be overpowered. And that's what Kirksey will give you for the Packers. So that's my thoughts on Christian Kirksey. Rick Wagner has been signed by the Green Bay Packers to replace Brian Bulaga. Brian Bulaga is going to be gone. It's becoming clear, according to Ian Rappaport, that Brian Bulaga is going to see you later. He's going to be out. So that means the Packers need to go out. They needed to get a veteran in the building to address that right tackle position. Rick Wagner is exactly that. Now, is he Brian Bulaga? Is he an elite player at the position? No. But he is a capable starter. He started for a couple of seasons now for the Detroit Lions. He played, I believe, for Baltimore off the top of my head back in the day. He was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in 2013 as a 5th rounder, but he ended up becoming a starter from Wisconsin. The Lions signed Wagner to a 5-year contract in 2017 where he played 30 of the possible 36 games, but he just lasted 3 seasons with Detroit. This is a player that he's not going to be Brian Bulaga for you. He's a solid, capable starting right tackle. He's nothing really to worry about. You're not worried about him constantly being beat time after time, rep after rep. He is not quite the pass blocking guy that Brian Bulaga is. Like, Bulaga is one of the elite pass blocking right tackles in the NFL, and you're not going to have that with Wagner. But what you probably will have is an all-around decent tackle who won't be hurting you starting him at right tackle, and he's, I would say, probably just as good of a run blocker as Bulaga is. I've really want to say that he is more of the run blocking type of right tackle than the pass blocking type of right tackle. A new offensive scheme from last season with LaFleur in the fold. They ran the ball a lot more often, so I do think Wagner will add to that element of their offense. But overall, this is just a player that is going to replace a guy that you couldn't re-sign. It's really as simple as that. There's nothing really else to be said there. Now, in terms of the contract details, I do want to find that out before I do. Make $11 million over 2 years with a $2.25 base salary plus a $1 million roster bonus if he's on the team on the 3rd day of the 2021 league year. Wagner will also get a $250,000 workout bonus, which can go up to $750,000. He also has $2.75 million playtime base escalator in 2021. So those are the full contract details there. He was a player coming from Baltimore that was looked at as a prime, one of the best right tackles in the game. So maybe if he can get back to that in Green Bay, it's a possibility.